2016, the year where the mobile games still on the early stages. One genre that no one will ever guess at the time going to be big, a gacha genre. If you ever played or dipped into gacha gaming sphere before 2020, you will find quite interesting how different it is on the gacha gaming between then and now. Not only from the sheer amount title published that we have today are much bigger, the game mechanics and quality was quite a significant upgrade compared to the old era is understatement. If you tell anyone at that time that gacha games will be big, massive open world like we have today, many of them will be surprised in disbelief. I mean, usually if you talk about gacha game on that era, it will be typical turn-based games, or select dungeon with hack and slash with simplified design and complexity. Even the gacha game that still exists today from that year, like FGO, have interface that pretty simple even from that time. Compared to today, we have games like Withering Wave, Genshin Impact, Honkai Star Rail, or Blue Archive. With high quality texture, detailed shadows, beautiful blooms, stylized design, and great UI design. The quality between then and now was staggeringly different, and it still doesn't include upcoming games like Enfield, Azure Promilia, Project Mugen, or N2E, who could bring more improvement on gacha gaming sphere, whether it's their gameplay or unique mechanics they offers. These big gacha games that we have today, some of it are more and more resembling on AAA type games published by big game company publisher like EA or Sony, whether they're massive map, interactive quests, or heavily driven narrative storyline. The trend that I personally like because I'm broke ass dude from third country where the price of single game could eat up about a fourth of salary per month. And since most of the gacha game that being published was free to play, but packed with content like a full price AAA games. And the enjoyment that I could get for free was unbelievably massive. Even could compete with full price games with its 20 plus hour and more gameplay content. Well, of course, I know the monetization on this game exists, but still, the content gated behind those paywall was quite small compared to other gameplay content that's still available for free. So simply ignore those impulse to cash in with real cold doubloons and relying solely on free rewards really was a viable option. Now, to give you a better understand, let's talk some of gacha games from that era. Let's choose one old title that still exists to this day. How about FGO? A free-to-play gacha game developed by Lasengo. A free-to-play gacha games developed by Lasengo, or previously Like Works, using the Unity game engine. Based on Type Moon Fate Stay Night franchise. Famous for its heavily massive lore that they have that makes people asking, should I dive into this deep rabbit hole knowing whatever time I have to invest in this lore will never be enough? While the lore of FGO was quite massive, the gameplay mechanic for FGO was quite simple. A turn-based strategy with players takes role as a master to command servants with skills to take down the enemy. At its core, the gameplay FGO has was you form a 3 servant to combat with 3 replace member. In case your main frontline perishes on combat with 3 types of card to choose, when your servant executing skills, resulting with different effect with each combination. While on the surface, the replayability comes from this mechanic was quite simple to understand, with more to come later at the end of game, combining effect card, skill effect, and passive that your servant currently have. So the style that FGO adopted was simple 2.5D style, like any other gacha game at that time has to offer. The limitation on hardware and spec on that era are one of many reasons why gacha games were quite simple at that time. Now, with many technological advancement on mobile processor and GPU progress on mobile market with each passing time, The limit for graphical fidelity capabilities on mobile market has been lifted, resulting in more and more heavier and prettier game got released. And comparing the FGO game mechanics before with Pikachu game today like Genshin game mechanics, the difference is like a night and day. And the combination from element interaction, character skills, terrain reversal, and different types from enemy, resulting in more complex interaction between one and another. And bear in mind, while the interaction between game mechanics on Genshin was awesome and interesting, the core combat gameplay from Genshin character are simple at best, but get quite complex with its new gimmicks or new addition on every updates. At last, the easy to understand was a strong point from Genshin combat mechanic to widely appeal to newcomers or non-gamers for the first game. Meanwhile, other Pikachu games with similar types, like Wuthering Waves, were more challenging with its parry or dodge mechanic to appease different spectrum of their players, to appeal more on experienced players. And this two Pikachu game approach in the same genre that we have today makes me wonder what their incoming competitor could offer to appeal to the audience from gameplay perspective. Like maybe as a Promilia trailer, we know its companion or Pokemon style mechanic on the combat. It looks pretty fun. Or Ignite Enfield with their more JRPG style game, which you can choose for character in tandem while in combat, so you have sense of having them. Or upcoming gacha games that could bring no one who could think of newer game mechanics to the table. And now with mobile games become much more fun to play and bigger than ever, to be able to experience the drastic change on gacha game in these couple of years was an exciting experience. And on the coming years, no one could imagine how mobile game could improve on so many of its aspects, delivering their best storytelling with its fun game mechanics on smaller form handheld device that they weren't able to do that years before. And so, what do you guys think of this trend? Do you feel gacha games are going to the right direction? Or gacha games should become much simpler? Tell me what you guys think in the comments below. And thank you for your time. Have a nice day.